Hey yo, Rogue Company dropped the Seeker update this morning. The character is out of the PTS and into the live game. So this video is just going to act as a quick guide and overview to get you more familiar with the character and a little bit more detail into how his ability works, as well as a recommended buy order and little tips and tricks that I picked up along the way. Obviously, I'm not pretending to be a pro Seeker player, but I did get to play him in the PTS for a while and this morning in the live game. So hopefully you find this helpful. Let me know if you think Seeker's going to be viable and if there's any tips and tricks that I might have missed. Hope you enjoy the video. Seeker's ability is a recon arrow shot out of his bow that reveals any enemies that the arrow passes. As you can see here, there's no limit to the amount of reveals you can get from a single shot. Now, this arrow ricochets off of surfaces, which will open up more opportunities for Seeker to get reveals in confined areas in tight angles, and it's really going to separate the good Seekers from the mediocre ones because your primary source of reveals are going to be off ricochets, so you're really going to want to try and get used to that bounce pattern. Seeker's ability is not single use, so you'll be able to use it multiple times per round, assuming you're live long enough for it to recharge. You can run around with it like any primary, and you have the ability to ADS or hip fire. I haven't seen any benefits to ADSing in terms of range, but maybe if you really want to get a good close eye on the pattern. But I recommend going for the hip fire so that way your movement speed isn't sacrificed. The arrow does do direct damage, but probably not the best use for it. A direct hit will cause a reveal, but at that point it's kind of a waste. The headshot is a 75 damage and the body shot is 50, so maybe a stylish way to finish off an enemy. Speaking of stylish ways to finish off enemies, Seeker's passive is a 60% damage bonus to projectiles that are bounced. Now this applies to the arrow as well. So if you were to get a hit after getting a ricochet, the body damage would be 80. Headshots give you 120. Alright, now let's dive into his loadout. You'll see he has a new AR called the Sahara, and he inherited Phantom's old DMR, which is a scoped in DMR. He has Scorch's pistol, and his perks are okay, nothing crazy. But the big thing is going to be that bounce grenade because it synergizes perfectly with his passive.
Save the day, look good, get paid. Right?
You're looking at the new store for Demolition. Remember, the Seeker update also brings economy changes to Demolition.
Cool.
The cost of things have changed and upgrades. You start with 5K, and you're going to want to spend that first 5K on the bounce grenade. So the first round goes pretty well for me. I'm able to get a little flank going. Nobody went B, they went hard A. I try and get this arrow into the luggage area because that's usually where people plant for it. They'll try and plant the bomb facing the luggage so they have an easier time defending. But this guy actually opted for this alleyway, which completely threw me off guard. I thought he was actually going to retreat to try and protect the bomb. He's able to avoid my bounce grenade there. But I'm able to clean it up and recover, get the job done for my team. Now this is a nice wad of cash, so I'm going to be pretty well off here. Now the economy does feel a little stricter, so a poor round may leave you in the hole a little bit, but it goes without saying, when you have enough money for your primary, that's going to be the second thing you buy. And I have 3K left over, so I went with the sticky sensor. It does have a discount now, only 3K, so might as well get that little bit of extra intel for myself and my team. Now say the first round went horribly wrong for you. You get $5,500 for losing a round, so that's a good opportunity to get bounce back. With your bounce grenade, A3 salvo, and bounce back, it should be enough for you to kind of get back into the game, hopefully get a couple of downs or eliminations. I wouldn't worry too much about upgrading your bounce grenades early, especially if you're already in a hole after a poor first round. Remember, you're already getting the bonus from Seeker's passive on it, so it's going to be beefier than most other enemies' lethal gadgets. So that ended up being another round win for us, so I have some more cash to play with. I'm actually going to go for my Sahara Tier 1 upgrade. It increases your magazine size, and that's going to be the primary upgrade I recommend the most, and I'll explain why in a minute. But actually here, with 4K, I should have upgraded my bounce grenade to 125 plus 60% extra damage. That was a good time to do it, so don't be like me. I do want to circle back on Sahara's upgrades real quick. The reason why I said you want to primarily focus on the Tier 1 upgrade in your budget is because the increased magazine size is really going to make a big difference. For a slower rate of fire, good damage AR like this, those extra 10 bullets can make a difference. But then when you get to the Tier 2 and the Tier 3, the Tier 2, you're reducing your reload speed by 0.4 seconds, and the reduced reticle bloom is pretty negligible. And when you get into the tier 3,
That's sick.
I will say the handling bonus you get up to about 36 is solid, but the damage range, you don't really feel it that much. So with all that said, your main choice of perks after this in terms of what you're going to spend your money on is between Lifeline and Life Drain. Life Drain is now 12k, Lifeline is 10k, so that's going to probably factor into your decision. But I would say as a rule of thumb, if you're finding yourself being more of the slayer on your team, if you're the one getting the kills and getting in hairy situations, you may want to prioritize Life Drain. But if your team comp doesn't have a healer, Lifeline might not be the worst thing in the world to have, especially if maybe you're playing a little bit slower and being a little bit more of your intel role. But that's really up to you. Obviously, the buy order is just kind of a guide. It's just my preference. Obviously, if you're a melee specialist, you could have gone for that earlier after your bounce grenade, things of that nature. But that's just a general guide for Demolition. I'll continue on buy order in a second, but I just want to say right here, kids, this is why you don't surrender. Anything can happen when you dig deep. It ain't over until it's over. And you never know, the other team might just completely throw. Like that Ronin is right there trying to no-scope me when she had me completely flanked. And now, she's going to pay the price. Got him! Some good secret gameplay for you guys. So anyway, back to the respawn game modes like Strikeout or Assault or whatever. You're going to be starting with $13,000, and that's an easy primary and bounce grenade cop. That'll be a solid way to start it out. And then from there, you're going to want to focus on getting both Life Drain and Lifeline. Now, depending on your performance, it might be easier said than done, but both of those are going to make a huge difference in respawn game modes. Remember, for your upgrade priority, only go for the tier 1 on the Sahara, and don't worry about upgrading your bounce grenades right away. Focus on getting those really premium perks, and then you can kind of build out from there.
Enemies have been eliminated.
I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm just going to let some solid gameplay here roll. I think I dropped like 20 downs this game. Really had to pick up the slack once we went a man down. But I think Seeker's really fun. I hope you guys enjoy him. If you have any questions or if you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments. If you like what you see here, I stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/lightboogie at least 3 times a week. So if you want to check me out over there, I'd appreciate it. Always like shooting the shit with fellow Roco players and squadding up and whatever. And I'm going to be putting out some more YouTube content. Now that the update finally dropped and we have an idea of where the economy is at and all that, I'm going to be able to put out some more guides that I've been wanting to do, like Dallas mainly, my main squeeze. So keep an eye out for all that, and I'll see you for the next video.